today we are using our yoga voice.
Oh, she wants Fancy to use her yoga voice. I didn't know if she has one. Y'all know Fancy's loud. How was everybody's weekend? I hope it was all wonderful. And if she's going to use a yoga voice, she's probably going to have to take the accent off to use it. All right, everybody, here we go. I'm going to make it quick this morning. I have G with me. I'm very excited. And we're talking about
Balance.
balance. That's why we started with yoga, because you have to learn how to balance. And then what does that have to do with like living your life in moderation? That's in Philippians. Philippians 4 is about living your life in balance. Life is about balance. Anything you're doing in excess is hurting you. You don't believe me? We're going to prove it as we go along, right?
Right.
All right. So the first thing, it cuts me deep. It's cutting her deep.
It cuts me deep.
Shopping too much. A lot of us do that in excess, and that's a negative thing. We also need to balance that. We have to balance our shopping with our saving. Yes, we can't spend more than we're saving, because just like now in quarantine, where's your money for a rainy day? You spent it all on shoes and sneakers and Jordans. My dudes out there spent it all on Jordans. You can't do that. You have to have balance, so that will hurt you. You won't be able to pay your bills, your car note, your mortgage, your rent, whatever it is. You don't want to do anything in excess. The next thing, drinking too much. And she's a college student, so I'm sure she knows a little bit about that. Tell us about that balance.
I just think that you definitely need to balance the amount that you're partying and because there's more to life than just drinking and partying. You're not able to actually live in the moment and be with people, be with your friends, and focus on developing yourself and growing if you're drinking all the time and partying all the time. It's really important to just have balance and to have time where you're in your right mindset.
Wow, she's really smart. Who raised her? And so that brings me to another one that I think that if you didn't have a problem with it, you probably have one now since we've been quarantined, and that's eating too much.
Yeah.
We've all are overindulging in a bunch of garbage because we're stuck in the house, right? And sometimes what do? Eat when we're bored. So it's not really because we're hungry and you're putting on extra weight that you don't want to do. What can we say about eating too much right now to bring balance to that while we're in the house?
Yeah, it's definitely important to balance your eating with your exercising. The best way to lose weight and to keep weight off is for consistent exercise.
She knows. She's a dancer. She's got lots of credentials behind her name, so we're not going to get into that. But anyway, the other thing is, I know y'all going to be mad, but smoking too much weed, it's bad for you. If you're doing it in excess, I guarantee you that it is bad. Smoking cigarettes, what does doing that in excess lead to?
It leads to addiction, and it leads to you not being able to break that addiction, and that can lead to health issues.
Right, a lot of times cancer. So I don't advocate either, but how am I proving that anything in excess is too much and that moderation is important? Probably if you smoked one cigarette a week or one a month, you'd probably not end up getting cancer. But the thing is that you're doing it every day, 12 packs a day, but you doing it causes that, what did she say? Addiction, which then causes to you getting cancer and all other types of conditions that come with the smoke that gets in your lungs. So excess, again, excess is too much. The other thing, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Fancy, that totally, you can never do too much of this, and that's reading. You think like, oh, you never, no. You can read so much that you're just so book smart that you're never out in the world experiencing things where you can relate the things that you've read to the things that you experience. That is important. And being around people is important. So you don't want to just be stuck in the house, a bookworm, read. And so sometimes some people have so much knowledge that they never apply in their life and interactions because they're not doing enough interaction.
A lot of people I know during this quarantine are just reading too much about COVID-19, about the amount of deaths that are happening per day, and it's really just starting to stress people out because they're not actually living through this quarantine, spending time at their house with their family and just being there rather than figuring out so much information and clouding your mind with that.
Reading this conspiracy theory,
right,
and reading that, and
it's just stressing you out. It's very important to be informed, but it's not important to be engulfed.
I love it. She's so smart. I don't know where she came from. That is so good. Yes, do not, because engulfed means that you're doing it in excess. And we're talking about doing everything in moderation, like Philippians says. All right, the last and final thing is working too much. Can you work too much?
Yeah, you can definitely work too much.
You've got to take time out. A day that you relax, you debrief, you don't think about work. Don't think about your depositions and all the things that are coming on Monday or coming the next day. You've got to take this day to debrief, relax, do some yoga, meditate, read your word, pray, have some praise and worship so you can bring that peace into your life. That's why you need that rest. What did the Lord do? He created all this, and on the seventh day, he rested. And so that was just an example. He didn't even really rest because he's God. He doesn't need to rest, but that was an example of what we need to do to teach us to rest, right?
Right. And it's really important that every week you take a Sabbath. It doesn't have to be on Sunday, but it just needs to be one day a week where you're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about anything that stresses you out. You're spending time with your family, you're spending time with yourself, you're reflecting on your week, and you're getting prepared for the week. You need time to rest. One day, not just 5 minutes a day. One day a week, you need to be taking time to just rest.
She's so right. Listen, it's your girl Fancy with G. We're here. It's Tips for Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Namaste.